far western edge of Texas, there's a road so quiet, you can hear your engine echo from hill to hill. It's called River Road, officially known as FM 170. This stretch runs through Big Bend Ranch State Park, winding from the tiny town of Presidio all the way to Lajitas. It hugs the edge of the Rio Grande, offering views that feel like you're driving across the final page of an old atlas. But River Road isn't just one of the most scenic highways in America. It's also one of the most isolated. There are no streetlights, no rest stops, just desert, open skies, and silence. Still, this road isn't empty. Scattered along the way are forgotten communities, small towns that most maps overlook. And yet, it's in these quiet places that life beats to a unique rhythm, sometimes touching, sometimes strange, but always real. Let's explore silent outposts that make up the hidden pulse of West Texas. We begin in Presidio, a small border town that faces Ojinaga, Mexico, across the river. On a map, Presidio is just a dot. But in real life, it's a place where two worlds meet, America and Mexico, desert and river, Spanish and English. One of its most famous landmarks is Fort Leaton, a 1-acre adobe fortress built in 1848. Most of the town's residents are from Hispanic communities, and cross-border life is simply part of the day. There's small-scale trade, families meet across nations, and cultures blend quietly, without speeches or headlines. Even though Presidio sits at a strategic border, it remains incredibly remote. Few people pass through, only those who need to, or those who are intentionally seeking silence. In the summer, temperatures here can soar to extremes, making it one of the hottest places in the United States. But behind the heat and the silence, Presidio holds a kind of stubborn strength. It survives without luxury, fueled by the loyalty of its people and their bond with the harsh but familiar land. Keep following River Road northeast, and you'll reach Ruidosa, a tiny village that's nearly vanished from the map. Often referred to as a ghost town, the population here is said to be just a handful, and the days pass slowly, almost silently. Ironically, the name Ruidosa means noisy in Spanish. But what you'll find here is the exact opposite. A silence so deep, it almost hums. The town's most striking feature is the Our Lady of Guadalupe Mission Church, a quiet, white adobe building standing alone in the dry landscape. Built in 1914, it's simple yet beautiful, like a poem made of straw and stone. It remains the only visual marker that this place once held hope, faith, and a living community. Besides that, there's only one small store, a rare place for locals to gather. Years ago, Ruidosa was more alive. There were small farms, families surviving in the shadow of the mountains. But as time passed, the younger generation left, chasing jobs and new futures. What's left is cracked earth and peeling walls. Yet Ruidosa isn't dead. It's only sleeping, cradled in the arms of its history. Farther still, near the very edge of everything, lies Candelaria. This isn't just a remote town. It feels like a place beyond civilization. No gas stations, no cell service, and sometimes the only way in is down a long, dusty dirt track. But within that isolation lives a story of deep connection. Years ago, a small suspension bridge linked Candelaria to a village across the river in Mexico. Children crossed the Rio Grande to go to school. Families traded food. Border life was simple and shared. That changed. The bridge was shut down in the name of security, and since then, Candelaria has become a landlocked island, cut off both physically and emotionally. Still, for the few who remain, silence isn't a curse. It's the price of peace, of star-filled skies, of a river song being the only music that plays each night. Between Ruidosa and Presidio, there's a quiet farming community you've probably never heard of until a single tragedy changed everything. In 1997, a local teenager named Ezekiel Hernandez Jr. was out herding goats, carrying an old rifle to scare off coyotes. Unbeknownst to him, U.S. Marines were conducting a covert surveillance mission along the border. They mistook Ezekiel for a threat. One fatal shot ended his life. The death of Ezekiel sent shockwaves across the nation. It was the first time since the late 1800s that a civilian American was killed by the military on U.S. soil. The incident sparked a national debate and led to changes in how the military is used in civilian zones. Today, Redford has faded back into silence. Its old homes and sun-baked buildings still stand, but each sunset over these dry fields brings a shadow, a memory of a boy, a mistake, and a piece of history we can't afford to repeat.
When I arrived, the body was lying in this area where I'm standing. I was covered by an army blanket.
But not every town along River Road carries sorrow. Enter Lajitas, a place where the mayor is not a man, but a goat named Clay Henry who loves to drink beer. It started as a local joke, but over time became a tourist attraction. Visitors line up to offer Clay Henry and his successors a cold drink and snap photos. In the middle of nowhere, a goat somehow became the heart of a community. And strangely, it works. But there's more to Lajitas than goat politics. The town features a luxury golf resort, a historic hotel, and stunning views overlooking the Rio Grande. It's proof that even in the most remote corners of Texas, people still find ways to build joy, create charm, and share a laugh, especially when a goat is involved. Just 15 minutes east of Lajitas lies Terlingua, once a ghost town, now a surprising cultural oasis in the heart of the desert. What used to be crumbling brick walls have been transformed into open-air galleries, quirky antique shops, and cafes with live music. Terlingua thrives not on industry, but on artistic spirit, freedom, and the desire to live off the beaten path. And its most iconic event? The annual Chili Cook-Off Festival, where thousands gather to compete in chili making, share stories, and party late into the desert night. Even the cemetery here is unlike any other, filled with odd gravestones, faded plastic flowers, and the occasional beer bottle left as tribute. In Terlingua, death isn't an end. It's a celebration of a life well lived. River Road isn't just a line on the map, it's the heartbeat of a region that quietly resists being forgotten. From Presidio to Terlingua, every stop, Ruidosa, Candelaria, Redford, Lajitas, offers stories of survival, loss, and a quiet beauty born from isolation. In the middle of the desert, beneath a sky that stretches forever, you won't find crowds or skyscrapers, but you will find something else: raw honesty, bizarre humor, and the courage to stay rooted when the rest of the world moves on. So if life ever feels too loud, maybe it's time to drive down River Road. And who knows? Somewhere along the empty curves of West Texas, you just might find the most honest version of yourself.